unapologetic liberal talk. It's Tarabuster with Tara Devlin.
Yo, 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 what's up? Hi, it's Tara Devlin. It's me, your friend. All right, I'm tired. I'm a little bit delirious. Thanks for indulging me. We meet here every Friday night, evening, 8:30-ish p.m. Eastern Time. And, yeah, thank you. And we also have a show on Tuesdays and Thursdays. This show will be played tomorrow on the Political Voices app. Not tomorrow, Sunday. See, but my days are all merging together. So, on Sunday on the Political Voices app. If you haven't downloaded the Political Voices app, what are you waiting for? It's a great app. I actually listen to that app all day. That's how I listen to all the shows. I listen to Stephanie Miller. I start with Stephanie Miller and I go through the whole day. So, and Mike Malloy is on there. If you haven't, I'm also a subscriber, of course, to Mike Malloy. I hope you are too. He's the great Mike Malloy. And thank you, Charlie from APS Radio News. All right, for keeping the show going and growing, for all your support of this show and the Community Cats. If you can, guys, if you feel like listening to some classic rock and oldies, go to APS Radio, download the little app, and classic rock and oldies all day long. All right, thank you. Jim on the chat says it looks good, it sounds good. And thank you for your support of the Community Cats, Charlie. All right, where do we begin? Besides, wow, okay. How did I spend my day? I've been researching, looking at what the hell is going on. I just can't handle it. No matter what no matter what Republicans do, no matter what Trump does, the maggots will respond with, "Oh my God, America's so respected again around the world," right? We're so respected. Trump is the most popular president in the 250-year history of the United States. He's the greatest leader. They're all begging him to invade their countries and run their countries because nobody does it better than him, like nobody's ever seen. Well, thank goodness the reality has a way of catching up to fascists. It really does. There's only so much the gaslighting can cover up, of course. And it's only 2 weeks into this Traitor Trump's war of choice, illegal war of choice for distracting war. I'm just getting distracted myself because I see we're having a House Sparks raid right now, and I'm like, thank you, nice to see everybody. I feel like I feel like a kid on Christmas. All of a sudden, it's like the chat room just starts filling up with amazing people. Not that it wasn't filled up with amazing people before, but just more amazing people. The more the merrier. It's the best. This is the way, we spend our Friday nights. This is the way we want to spend it, in a community of amazing people. Nice to see everybody. Welcome. I'm so glad that you can join us at this time. And it's so good. I really appreciate Hal in general, but I appreciate that it's good timing. Our shows are good timing. So you can hang out with Hal and then come on over and spend the rest of the evening with the Tarabuster crew, the OG Tarabusters. That's the best way to spend your Friday. I don't know about you, but I've been spending my Fridays like this for a long time, and I just don't know what I would have done, especially during the pandemic. We really helped each other get through that one. So who knows what the hell is in store. Oh my God, yes, that's right. Hey, Steve, thank you for your super chat. Hi, Tara. If respect is a poop, Trump has a diaper full. Thank you for your weekly tithe. if respect is a poop. Well, he's got no respect. I mean, as we know. But so we're only 2 weeks into Traitor Trump's war of choice, his illegal war of choice without congressional approval and public support, to distract from the fact that he raped children. I mean, there's never been a worse reason to go to war, right? Besides the Civil War, right? This is the thing. There's, back in the day, I mean, the Civil War, I'm talking about for the South, they had the worst reason to ever try to secede or take up arms against against their nation. They're a bunch of traitors, and they still are. So, so they can keep human beings in bondage. So the rich can keep human beings in bondage. And if you look at it, they're still waging that war. Maggots are waging the war, so billionaires can keep us all in bondage in this late stage capitalism hellscape. But in the timeline of Traitor Trump's war of choice, we're already at the part we never were in the truth telling stage. We never were in the popular support stage. And we're in what was the Pentagon? There was the Pentagon Follies. That's what it used to be called back in the 60s, when and the 70s, at the end of the Vietnam War, where the Pentagon was just adamant about getting people to believe their bullshit. And it was and nobody did. And it was, I mean, I only know this through research. I'm not that old, but I was a child when the Vietnam War ended. But I do, I do read about it. But we don't even there's no good reason here, of course. The whole thing is a disgrace. And more Americans died today for Traitor Trump's distraction, and we have our work cut out for us, because if these bastards hold on to power, and that's what they're trying to do with their SAVE Act, if you notice, and I mean I have noticed it because I have to go into the spaces where maggots live and talk to each other sometimes, and they're talking about this SAVE Act. They want to pass this assault on democracy, their voter suppression bill, because they can't win fairly and squarely on the field of ideas. That's the case with conservatism. Nobody wants their conservative bullshit, because, I mean, Traitor Trump and all of them, if you notice, they run as liberals. They always do. They run as people who are going to give you health care, right? That's one of the things. Especially the first time he ran on, everybody's going to get health care. It's going to be the best. It's going to be free. It's going to be the easiest deal you'll see, like nobody's ever seen. They all run on liberal policies. Everyone's going to have a great job and a great retirement security and a great house, and everything's going to be great for everybody, if only everyone gets in their place. That's the fallacy of conservatism. It's a hierarchical ideology where basically the beatings will continue until morale improves. That's really should be one of their mottos. But if everyone gets in their so-called natural place, then we'll have utopia. And of course, in this hellscape, Traitor Trump is at the top currently. They are, and the more, I think we're at the point with the maggot cult that it's the 35%, because studies show that 35% of the population in general are authoritarian followers. It's a personality trait. That's why Traitor Trump's support will never go below 35%, because these people want that. And they don't, like we say all the time, they don't like democracy. They don't want a democratic republic. They don't want to share with people who aren't them, but they all want the benefits of civilization. And in fact, if you were listening to the anti-fascist book club earlier, and we were talking about it, and we're discussing the book To Catch a Fascist by Christopher Matthias. And in the book, there's a character, it's not a character, it's a real person, but one of the Patriot Front assholes was unmasked. Even the Patriot Front idiots, even to themselves, are anonymous. They have fake names that they use with each other because, I guess their ideology is so great that they're afraid of losing their jobs and stuff. At least there are still consequences to a degree, or at least they're afraid. Make Nazis afraid again. I think that's a good thing. So, and this person in the book To Catch a Fascist. Wait, what was the point of that? I'm losing my train of thought here. Shit. He was afraid of being unmasked. Oh fuck! I'll get back to it in a second. You see what happens? The fucking music. I'm getting old here, and I'm tired. But yeah. So, all right. Let's just play this clip. Let's just start off here. While my thoughts come back to me. I should lower that music. If it's not one thing, it's another. Yeah, getting distracted. Okay, so Traitor Trump called in to... They're really doing a full court press with the propaganda because that's all they have. And this is why it's like everything. Trump is a con man, okay? And I'm sick of it. And we were discussing it earlier, too, that I know people. I'm sure you know people. And we talked about it on one of the other shows about Joe Rogan being surprised. Oh, he feels betrayed. What are you fucking feeling betrayed for? It's like the scorpion and the frog again. You feel betrayed that the lifelong pathological liar lied to you? You feel betrayed that he ran on being the candidate of peace? And he started a war of choice? This mother effer will burn down the whole world and take everybody with him if it means that, he gets another dollar. That's all that matters to these pricks. Or he gets what, he wants, which is to distract from the fact that he raped children. And that's not even the problem. There's no consequences. That's the what he's running from, the consequences. No consequences for being a fascist in this country, it seems. And that's what they mean by Make America Great Again. They want to be able to be awful and horrible and selfish and ugly and hateful and prurient and juvenile and unfit, but yet have no consequences for that. That's Make America Great. Back in the good old days where being born white and male was your greatest accomplishment. That's all the accomplishments you needed. If you were born on third base thinking you hit a triple, and depending on your family, you had the whole world at your feet there. Everybody else, oh well, good luck next life. Better luck. But you don't worry, you'll get your mansion in heaven. Await your rewards in heaven. Well, Traitor Trump called into Fox News, of course, because they need their safe spaces. Fox News exists for Nazis to have their safe spaces. They're very fragile Nazis. That's what if reading more about them and knowing about them in general, that's one of their characteristics. They're very fragile. That's why professional victimitis is one of their afflictions. They're always the victim, no matter how much they are the perpetrator, as we saw with Renee Good and Preddy. I can't think of his first name now. Alex Preddy. They were the perpetrators, right? Oh, you even though Alex Preddy was shot in the back, In fact, I think he was shot in the back of the head, wasn't he? I mean, I don't know if there was a picture of him laying with his face to the ground and one of the fascists with his gun drawn at the back of his head. And according to the early fascist reports from Kristi Noem, he was the aggressor. Alex Preddy was the aggressor. And the poor put upon Gestapo were just acting in self-defense. Well, here's Traitor Trump calling in to Fox News.
I'm doing something about it, and I had to take an excursion. We had the greatest economy in history. We still do. This will bounce right
still
back.
Do?
When it's over,
you prick.
And I don't think it's going to be long. When it's over, this is going to bounce right back so fast.
Scum.
When are you going to know when it's over?
When I feel it.
Okay.
I feel it in my bones.
Will you ask anybody in particular? Would that be somebody's a joint decision?
I deal with people. I have great people.
Yeah.
Great people. They're great people. Great people, like nobody's ever seen. When you feel it in your bones. Now, okay, at a certain point, it's really about us, okay? Our fellow Americans shamefully voted for that piece of shit, put him back into office, but somewhere along the line, when do we stop the madness? He is a sickness. That's why there is a 25th Amendment. I mean, that's why the founders put that in there, put that in the Constitution. They understood, people are fallible. They're finite beings. Sickness hits us, and mental illness. Some of us can suffer from it. And especially late in life, you get dementia. But if you start from a place of being fundamentally unfit, you're not going to improve when you're 80 years old. It's only you're going downhill, and you're going downhill fast. But when I hear that shit, how many Americans have to die? So we're all going to die. We're just going to go along with this. We're going to send more young Americans to their cold, early graves because Traitor Trump raped children. Just because he can. Just because he can, and we're all going to sit back and wait till a baboon feels it in his bones. He doesn't know what he's doing. There's no planning. There was no, if we were so under threat, under attack, they would have fortified the bases, right? Instead, we were attacked, and the service members who died initially were because they were not in fortified positions, because they weren't expecting to be attacked. We should have planned that out, right? But Republicans do not set us up for success. And that's what I was doing today when I was thinking about what I'm going to talk about on the show, and looking at, the various clips and gathering the clips and reading articles and whatnot. And all I keep coming back to is Republicans never set us up for success. They always set us up for failure. And in this situation, look at everything they did for this past year. Joe Biden, okay, for a brief moment there were no Americans on foreign soil. No American soldiers were at war on foreign soil anywhere in the world. Just for a minute there, for a blip of time, for a brief moment, when we pulled out of Afghanistan, and of course the Republicans whine and bitch and fart and shit and moan and groan and gripe because Traitor Trump made that withdrawal, that horrible withdrawal. See, he did that to us. They set up that situation when they closed the bases and they closed the airports, and the Americans left had to funnel into one airport, and they only had a certain amount of time. And Traitor Trump let like 5,000 Taliban fighters loose, and it was complete chaos because that's what he left us. That's Trump. But all he did was they set their booby traps and then sit back and point fingers at Democrats. And Democrats, to my utter and eternal frustration, never seem to be able to defend themselves. Wait, there's something in my mouth. It's my hair. You know? They just, I don't know what it is. That's why I always say that when Republicans lie and they leave their stench in the middle of the floor, we just can't leave it there. We have to address it. We have to counter it with the truth. Otherwise, it's going to stink up the place. And I think that a lot of times Democrats think that silence is the best response. I'm not going to give this any attention, or lest it, I don't know, take on a life of its own or something. But if you don't correct the record, then people are going to believe the lie. So when the Republicans are on Fox News bitching and moaning and groaning about Joe Biden's withdrawal from Afghanistan, and they have the nerve to say they're going to impeach him or bring him into Congress and have hearings about it. You notice that didn't happen because it was Trump that left Joe Biden that gift. Like a big stinking pile of dog poop in a paper bag on our front lawn. And when we had to stomp it out and the shit got everywhere, they blame Biden, not Traitor Trump, because being a Republican means never saying sorry. And they never take responsibility. The party of personal responsibility never takes responsibility for itself, for the disasters they create. And for whatever reason, this is going to be, when they write the history of this time, one of the things is going to be how Biden just never, ever stood up for himself or corrected the record. And it was constantly driving me nuts. And I'm sure you too. Because how are people going to know? I mean, Biden was always like bipartisan this, bipartisan that. Oh, my bipartisan, my Republican friend. Like he has more of a vested interest in rehabbing the Republican brand than the Republicans themselves. And Republicans, the graciousness is never reciprocal. You never hear Republicans say, oh, well, my good friend, my Democratic friend over here, they can't even say Democratic. They say Democrat friend and emphasize the rat. They don't give a shit about rehabbing the Democratic brand. In fact, they tell their constituents that Democrats are tantamount to evil. If you vote Democratic, you might as well be voting for Satan. When, as we see in the last year with Doge, with the Republicans destroying the bureaucracy of this government, that every modern nation, we need a functioning bureaucracy. Democracies need a bureaucracy. Oh, government, deep state, government. Yeah, bitch, we need the fucking government. You need your Social Security. I mean, Republicans have put so many poison pills into our system. We have our work cut out for us, fixing it up. They're like termites in our house, whittling away at the foundations, because it's too decent. Like Traitor Trump and Pete Hegseth going on about, lethality. We're not. I made a mistake. Sometimes I have to go on Twitter And I went on Twitter, and Pete Heggs is there, and I made the mistake. Sometimes I don't even look because I'm just trying to get what I need. I get videos off there a lot, and it's easier. But if I see some, I get distracted, and I'm like, fuck, I don't want to see this because it just sucks you in, and then and it irritates me, you know? And because if you go on Twitter is a hellhole, and it is the only thing that I think it's a testament to. It's that Republicans destroy everything they touch. That a right winger, it doesn't take long for right wingers to destroy something perfectly decent, and Twitter is the shining example. It's not a shining now; it's a shitty example of it, right? And I went on to Twitter, and Pete Heggs had posted something about how he's reforming our war colleges, and because our future leaders should be taught lethality, not wokeness. Like, shut the fuck up with your wokeness bullshit, whatever that means, because they can't even define it. What it is not anything that's not them. Anything that requires them to be sort of, just a little bit, an iota, emotionally mature or decent to other people, right? Like if you have to be a nice person for a second, or be respectful, or not be a dick, grow up a little, then that's too much to ask these poor put upon babies. It is like being a baby, right? Because you can only expect from a 2-year-old what a 2-year-old can give. They can't be expected to act like 18-year-olds or 25-year-olds or 35-year-olds, because they're not. Same thing with Republicans. We can't expect them to be emotionally mature and decent, because if they were, they wouldn't be Republicans. They wouldn't be in allegiance to Trump, the worst human being on the planet at the moment, the worst human being to ever be given power by people who hate themselves, clearly, because how much do you have to hate yourself to give that thing power? You gotta be broken. There's a brokenness in you, and I don't want to hear it from the corporate media enabling that. And that's what they do. They make it normal. Like, this is not normal. I'm sorry. There are not very fine people on both sides. Nazis are not fine people, and if your party is endorsed by the American Nazi Party and the KKK, maybe you need another party. You should look at yourself. Oh, I'm a fiscal Republican. I'm fiscal. That drives me insane, because Republicans suck for the economy. You want fiscal? Vote Democratic. Republicans, whatever they touch, they destroy. So everything that they run on is bullshit. That's why they need propaganda. They can't exist without it. Pete Hegseth saying on CNN, he can't wait, right? He can't wait until Ellison takes over CNN. It's just there. You let the cat out of the bag. You just gave away the game, Pete. We all knew that. What he's saying is we can't wait for yet another billionaire to control what you hear, what you see, what you think, whatever the truth is. Forget truth. What is truth? Like Pilate said, what is truth? Truth has a liberal bias, because humanity has a liberal bias. We want to be fair. We want to treat each other with decency and respect. We want people to treat us with decency and respect. We're interdependent. We're an interconnected species. That's the way God made us. If you believe in God, these people, they say they do. Mother Nature made us this way. that we need each other. But Republicans would have you hate each other. Just hate, 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 and live in fear. They want to rob you of your serenity. This little blip of time that we have that's going to be gone, and some too soon and some not soon enough. But they want to rob us of that blip of time, literally. And they also want to rob us of the blip of time. They want to rob our serenity. They want to rob our peace of mind. They want to rob everything that our ancestors sacrificed so we could have better lives. They want to rob that from us. They will never set us up for success, just like in this war of choice. They didn't set us up. You know, if you were going... Hold on a second, I hear the music, but that's the music cues to cut the commercials. If Traitor Trump, insists, they all insist that we had to go to war. Here, let me play a couple of clips here. Oh, well, let's go back in time. Here, I found this meme. I thought that was apropos. You see, Republicans saving us or holding back the things that America needs, saving us from fair elections and saving us from, from just having a decent society, saving us from prosecuting pedophiles, saving us from affordable health care, the health care in general. So, let me see. Here's you want to start with this? And this is what gets me. And I was telling you guys that one of my friends listens to right-wing media all the time. He's like, arguing with me. Oh, nobody voted for these wars. Traitor, he doesn't call him Traitor Trump. He's like, Trump, people feel betrayed. Yeah, they feel betrayed because he didn't run. I'm like, you got to be dumb. Okay? This is a con man, people. And there should be no sympathy for this.
Candidate of peace. I am peace.
I am
People
peace.
don't believe that.
A vote for Donald Trump is a vote for a man who wants to end wars, not start them.
We do not want war with Iran. We actually want
war.
peace. The Iranians are clearly not very good at war. Perhaps
war. Come on, look at his fucking eyeliner.
they should follow President Trump's lead and give peace a chance.
Absolutely disgraceful. They'll say anything. These people will sell their own mothers for power, for money. Give me $1. You got $1? Because that's the only thing that matters, right? I thought they were such Christians. But, they're Jesus. Oh, they hate Jesus. Everything that Jesus said, that's woke. That's liberal shit. I thought that's not lethality. Turn the other cheek. It's easier for a rich man to get through the eye of a needle than to get into heaven. Oh, what kind of commie shit is that? Really, right?
Well, is campaigning with warmongers like Liz Cheney. How do you think that is? She picks Liz Cheney, whose father...
I mean, it sounds like he's always shitting himself. Ugh.
Virtually destroyed the Middle East. Liz Cheney, she talks big. Oh, I want...
Trump will fix it. You fucking morons. I tried to warn you, but I'm only a little Tarabuster show here, right? I do my best. That's why I thank you patrons, patreon.com/Tara Devlin. Exactly, on the chat. Allie, send Barron. Where the fuck is Barron? Where's Barron? Where's Tiffany? You can join the military now to, I think, age 41. When I was in, it was 34, something like that. Now it's 41. So, there's no excuse. How old are these? I don't even give a shit. Fucking half of them can go in. But they wouldn't because suckers and losers, right? No, that's not a recent rally. This was during the campaign.
War. She always wants war. Every time I was with her in the White House, we should attack this nation, that nation. nations that people never...
This is such a lie, as we know. Whenever I was in the White House, she's like, we should have... He's talking about Liz Cheney. Not that I'm a Liz Cheney fan, but come on. Shut your lying hole. Oh, yes, hey, sir, we should attack this country. We should attack that country. Yeah, okay. Sure, Jan. We believe you. How much do we have to hate ourselves to continuously listen to a baboon lie to us like this in the halls of power? And Republicans. They can't last. The problems that we face as a nation are twofold: money in politics and the corporate media and the consolidated media. Without those two things, Traitor Trump would disappear. All of these maggots in the halls of power, they would all disappear. Because, well, they'd go find a different grift, a different scam.
Even heard him. We should attack. He's a big tough guy. He sits back in Washington. Oh, we ought to go and attack.
Bullshit. Well, that's this is yet another example of everything is a confession or a projection. We should attack. Yeah. Like that's Liz Cheney talking. No, that's Traitor Trump talking. He's got nothing else. He is a one-trick pony for everything. Everything is bomb, right? Bomb Iran, or bomb anything. He's already started like 8 wars, right? I thought he stopped 7 wars. He fucking started 7 wars. We're on the road to World War III. But before that, he's dragging us to the 19th century. Okay. I know. I could see a number of people watching on YouTube, and I start playing a Trump clip, and you see people like, I'm out of here. It's that's a normal, natural human reaction to listening to a lying baboon. What's their excuse? What's the excuse of the people behind him? They're sick, okay? And you know why? Because they consume propaganda constantly. That from the time they could talk and walk, all around them are the telescreens with Fox News blaring in their empty heads, telling them to hate this group or that group, and telling them that their enemies are the people who believe in democracy. Never, they don't teach these people live and let live. They teach them to smash people who are different, be afraid. It's just horrible. And, Traitor Trump, if it was such an imminent threat that we were under attack by Iran, why would someone who supposedly is trying to make America great again, why would they wage outright war on renewable energy? Right? Republicans have been doing this for generations, waging war on America's future. Republicans, the American people are worse off whenever they get in power. And this is not me talking and just flinging pejoratives. That's a demonstrable fact. We can break it down through math. From Reagan's presidency. And we could start there. Reagan's presidency entrenched policies. From the New Deal, we went to Reagan's the Reagan Revolution, which was not a revolution. It was a counter-revolution. It was a devolution. Because, he started the consolidation of the media. Unfortunately, Bill Clinton put the nail in the coffin with the Telecommunications Act and gave us Rush Limbaugh, who, with his siren song across from sea to shining sea, telling working people who live, the American dream was that you too, everyone can have a decent middle class life. And that came through government policy. And out of that, through, the white working class primarily, because there were a lot of New Deal policies that the Americans with darker pigment didn't get to partake in. And this was how they got the Southern racists on board with the New Deal. It didn't apply to certain demographics. Same thing with the GI Bill, which is disgusting. When you think about it, right? People who wore the uniform, who had darker pigment, couldn't have certain benefits. They didn't get those benefits like my father did and my uncles. They were able to buy homes with their GI Bill. Not if you were a service member with darker pigment. You couldn't get a home with your GI Bill. You could get into public housing easier, you see, but you couldn't start that generational wealth by buying a home. So we have a very racist history in policy that we try to deal with, but Republicans, of course, they're dragging us back, pretending it doesn't exist or it never existed, and now we're going backwards. Reagan's presidency, we could trace the beginning of inequality, because we had that blip of time in American history called the Great Prosperity for the white working class. And now Reagan, the blowing up the deficit. Hold on, here comes the music. We'll be right back. This is Tara Devlin. Tax cuts for the rich, right? The supply side economics, supply side, which is not even a thing in economics. They made that up, like the rest of the bullshit. Voodoo economics is what H.W. Bush called it, until he became Reagan's running mate, and I guess sold out his soul too. They all do. And when I was thinking about this, what really broke my heart was thinking about Jimmy Carter. Now, you think if Traitor Trump wanted, like he thought, oh, we're in imminent danger and we must attack Iran, why would he roll back Joe Biden's green energy infrastructure projects, which is what they did, which is what the Republicans did, right? The whole world is moving on to renewables, and every time we try to move on to renewables, here comes the Republicans. Like William F. Buckley said, conservatism, conservatives stand athwart history, yelling stop. That's the definition of conservatism. Standing athwart history, yelling stop. It's worse. They are not just standing athwart history, yelling stop. They're dragging us back 2 times we left in history's trash bin with good reason. No one wants to go back to the Dark Ages. They called it the Dark Ages for a reason. But that's what they want, because in their world, they're not in the Dark Ages. They're the ones that are going to be able to get education. But why would you need education? You don't need to be educated to work in the fields and die. Just be a soul. I mean, you may need a little, I guess they could do what they did in The Handmaid's Tale, right? Little pictographs on things. But yeah, Reagan started the cuts to social welfare, and then you had the Democrats piling on top. The era of big government is over. That's Clinton. Again, the new Democrats, they themselves assaulting the New Deal. And here we are. And it's not just Traitor Trump rolling back Joe Biden's green energy initiatives. And Joe Biden was 100%, 1,000% correct. You know, he said, when I think about climate change, I think jobs, jobs, jobs that aren't outsourceable. And that's the truth. But what benefit is there to the American people keeping us hooked on oil? There's no benefit to that. The benefit is to the rich. It's to the oil companies. There's no benefit to Mother Earth. There's no benefit to the people. Now, when people start paying high prices for gas, we may be forced, which is good. We need to move to renewables. But they have set us up for failure yet again. This is the Republicans. This is what they do. Please tell me if I'm wrong. Name one thing in the last. We'll give you a window since the beginning of the last century, since 1900. Name one thing the Republicans have done to invest in the United States. Well, I guess I answered my own question here. Eisenhower and the interstate highway system, one thing. But I don't consider him a real Republican. Now he wouldn't fit into the maggot cult. He was for Social Security. In fact, he said anybody who thinks of rolling back Social Security, they're stupid. Outright called them stupid. Because after the death of FDR, many Republicans were, okay, now it's time to get rid of this Social Security bullshit. And Eisenhower, in his letters, wrote, yeah, it's not going to happen. Because we need this. And for people who run on rolling back Social Security, they're stupid. So, but, okay, yeah, besides that, anything? The interstate highway. Can't really think of anything myself. But how about, if we narrow it down, it even gets worse. In the last 50 years, my entire life being on this planet, the only thing Republicans have done for this country is nothing. I mean, when I was preparing for today's show and thinking about what's going on and how Traitor Trump how they didn't prepare us. They didn't fortify. If you know you're going to war, don't you fortify your positions? Don't you start stockpiling things and preparing yourself? Like, if you know you're going to war with an oil rich in an oil rich area, and they talk about the Straits of Hormuz, they know what's going to happen there. Because they war game it all the time. But I guess they fired, all these woke generals and whatnot. So now they just go, wazoo, you, and fucking rush in with no preparation. Because that's what it means to be lethal. You're just running like a baboon. And you scream and yell and act tough. And you do push-ups and pull-ups on social media, and you talk real tough, and you release memes of video games interspersed with war because you're a real big man. So you're going to show them when what they're doing is disgracing. They're just disgracing us, and they're disgracing the memories and the sacrifice of the service members who gave their lives, who lost their lives needlessly. That's what really irritates me and gets me. The disgrace. There's no consideration. You think that Traitor Trump has lost a minute of sleep, a second of sleep, thinking about the service members who lost their lives? Right? I don't think he's thinks about it at all. You know, the Republicans, they don't pull a hair for the American people. They don't give a shit about anything, about decency. Look at all the people they fired from the jobs in the Social Security Administration, in the Veterans Administration, in the IRS, the things, you know, the bureaucracy we need to have a functioning civilization. Those used to be good jobs that people want. They take oaths to the American people and the Constitution. But, fuck them. They just unleash chaos across the land, and we're not supposed to care about our fellow Americans. It makes it convenient for them to do that, to continue to abuse us, until it's us, until it's you, until it hits home. That's the shame, the eternal shame of maggotry, that they never see the light until something hits home for them. Right? Biden, he was trying to set us up for success, passing the Inflation Reduction Act. They put, let me look it up here, $369 billion into climate and green energy, with the first ever 10-year runway of stable tax incentives, so businesses could bet big on renewables, so they could fit themselves for the future. They could set themselves up for future success. Supercharging clean energy with long-term production and investment tax credits for wind, solar, geothermal, hydropower, storage, and more. Bonuses for using U.S.-made components and building in fossil fuel communities. So the goal was set for 100% clean energy by the year 2035, which was an obtainable goal that we might have been able to reach in our lifetimes. And requiring, in the Inflation Reduction Act, required federal agencies to buy 100% carbon-free power by the year 2030, creating a guaranteed demand for green energy and clean energy projects and grid upgrades. I mean, all of this was good for the country, good for the people, good for the environment. I don't see a downside except for oil, the oil industry, the Saudis, the oil-rich countries. Hold on. But, you know, Republicans, they want Americans to die for oil. Right? It doesn't matter because it's not going to be them. It's not going to be Barron. I just have these clips. Come on. I don't know if we can handle it.
It's about why we need quickly approaching the point of no return, and the United States found it intolerable, in my opinion, based on what Steve and Jared and
excuse.
Pete and others
Steve
were telling
and Jared
me,
and
Marco,
Pete.
so involved, that I thought that they were going to attack us. I thought
Here's
they would.
The latest
if we didn't
lie.
do this at the time we did it, I think they had in mind to attack us.
You think they had in mind to attack you? Fucking liar. Okay? I hope we can fast forward to the part where they're all in the dock at The Hague. I want to see that. There has to be accountability somewhere, sometime, for these people. Oh, I really felt they were going to attack us, because this is another, the latest lie. They were going to attack us. Like you give a shit. These are the people who, your friends attack us. Putin attacks us. He's giving intel to the Iranians and attacking us. And Traitor Trump says, oh, I believe them. They're fanning across the fascist propaganda outlet saying, oh, I believe Russia. You're stupid baboons. Well, of course they believe Russia, because Russia is Traitor Trump's daddy. And we better believe that the White House is crawling with Russian spies. No wonder. You know, they're saying that the troops, they're getting hit with such precision that there's no doubt that they're getting intel, that the Iranians are getting intel from somewhere. Someone's giving positions away and whatnot. Of course, it's fucking Trump himself. It's all of them. These assholes give, they have conversations on unsecured iPhones. Moron. These are the same people who, we had to hear about Hillary's server and her emails and everyone else. But it's different rules for maggots. Different rules. And, you know, to get back to, it's not just Joe Biden. I'm just reading what Joe Biden did as far as green energy, and it makes me want to weep. He launched a national EV build-out in the bipartisan, well, I hate calling it bipartisan. The Democrats love to call everything bipartisan this, bipartisan that. It's never returned. They never return the favor, the Republicans. If you get one or two Republicans on a bill with Democrats, they call it bipartisan. It's the bipartisan infrastructure law, because, you know, you got to tell the Republicans, you got to give the Republicans a good PR for the American people. Not that they deserve it. I don't know why Democrats feel the need to do this. Just like Nancy Pelosi for years would say, Republicans, take back your party. The American people need a Republican Party that's done so much good for America. And what the fuck have they ever done for America? So talk about gaslighting. I can't wait till these old school Democrats retire. Please. Please, at least Schumer and the rest of them in that camp, go away. You this is not your fight. You're not the men and women for the moment. We don't need the Republicans to take back their party. We need them to go to the way of the Whigs. They are an irredeemable death cult. No party that puts a lying, pathological liar, malignant, narcissistic, pedo, tax-cheating, draft-dodging, wannabe dictator, con man, baboon as their standard bearer should exist. That's the telltale sign that they need to go away, that it needs to be dissolved in the very least. And what will happen if that happens? The Democratic Party, we don't need the Republican Party. The Democratic Party will break into factions, and that would be just fine. You'll have the liberal faction, the more moderate faction, you'll have the conservative faction. But one thing they will all agree on is that they believe in democracy. They believe in the rule of law and the Constitution, and that would be a good thing. So we don't need the Republican Party. They are liars. They are losers. They are the domestic enemies the founders warned us about. These are the ones trying to kick us off the voter rolls. They're making shit up left and right constantly. They make shit up. I mean, they're really good Johnny on the spot for all the made up shit that America faces. And it's all the made up shit that they make up. All the problems, women, men, and women's sports. What a fucking problem. While they're kicking millions off of health care, and people can't afford a $500 emergency, and 70% of the American people are living paycheck to paycheck. But let's worry about a trans athlete who came in fourth. Oh, she would have come in fourth if not for the other trans person that she competed against. Something like that. I mean, what a fucking tragedy. everything is just bullshit with these people. And now we have the biggest bullshit distraction, but it's not them on the line. It's not their kids on the line. Oh, just toughen up, stiffen your spines, go through the Straits of Hormuz. Oh, don't worry about it. Show some guts, like Trump. He's got the most guts, like nobody's ever seen. Be like him. Be like Barron. Well, Barron, I bet you it was Barron that made those bets, by the way. And his pals. MAGA My Man, on, what's that, Poly Market? I wrote an article on the Political Voices Network, Substack, about it. The Poly Market, whatever you call it, betting site. You can bet on political events. And some maggot had inside information when they're going to be bombed. They knew they were going to be bombed, that Iran was going to be bombed. They knew when and where and who and how. They had intel that the Congress didn't have. They didn't brief Congress, but somebody briefed Barron and his pals and Donald Trump Jr.'s Poly Market, where they made off with millions of dollars on the blood of American soldiers greasing the wheels. But, let's see. Biden boosted clean energy manufacturing at home, a 30% credit for factories that build solar panels, batteries, wind components, other low-carbon tech, especially in former coal and oil regions. Because you're thinking about those fucking West Virginia losers who constantly vote for their own demise. They want their black lung, right? They gotta have their black lung. Their daddy had black lung. Their mommy had black lung. They want the black lung. Hold on. And I know my good friend Robin Roxanne Kincaid lives in West Virginia. And yeah, I'm saying losers because they keep voting for their own demise. And I don't know. I don't know what it takes for people to wake up. But Biden wanted to build these green energy factories in your poorly run red state. But I guess, you go have black lung in a dying industry. Right? Oh, and then they rolled back. This is what fucking drives me nuts with the corporate media. How Traitor Trump says, oh, the electric vehicle mandate. We took away Biden's mandate. There was no mandate to buy an electric vehicle. Yet every time the baboons said that, or even when they mentioned it on the corporate media, no one corrected it and said, it's not a mandate, you fucking losers out there in TV land. It's a subsidy. They'll give you a tax credit. You get a tax credit if you buy an electric vehicle, and if you buy an American electric vehicle, you get a bigger tax credit. It's not a mandate. You don't have to take it. You could buy a piece of shit fucking truck, gas guzzling monstrosity. But you see the lies? This is how we know the Republican Party is evil. Because they're not trying to win on the field of ideas. They're trying to poison your minds with lies. If they loved America, if they wanted to make America great, they would not lie like this. They wouldn't lie. They wouldn't try to trick people. Oh, it's a mandate. I don't want anybody to tell me to buy an electric vehicle. Well, good, because that's not happening. You're in luck. But did anyone on the corporate media correct it? I have yet to hear them say, what does it take? 2 seconds to say, of course, it's not a mandate, you fucking baboon. It's a tax credit, like they do. That's what governments do when they want to encourage certain behaviors. They give tax incentives. You should know that, being the biggest loser American taxpayer that didn't pay taxes in American history, the one who declared more losses than every other single American taxpayer, that's Traitor Trump, the loser. Why the Democrats didn't hit that and pound that again and again and again, like the Republicans with Hillary's emails, but her server, Benghazi, you know what I'm saying? Why? What the fuck is wrong with Democrats? Well, I've been saying for years, they don't listen to this show, I guess. Right, Jim? Right? Right, Redfoot? We've been saying it for years. That's right. I forgot about that. VJ on the chat. Remember Tommy Tuberville holding up military promotions for 11 months. Exactly. They hate the troops. They hate the troops, Republicans. They never did a fucking thing for American service members or the police or firefighters or anything. You know, they're like, support the troops. Well, fucking police. We support the police. No, they don't. They don't support the police. They support the police state. This is a big difference, as we see with what went on January 6th. Big fucking difference. So Trump is, of course, tearing down America's green energy future, just like Republicans in general are tearing down our future in general, right? They're rolling back science, rolling back education. They're pulling up stakes all over the world and letting China roll in and get all of that soft power. See, maggots and Traitor Trump and Pete Hegseth, they're too devolved to understand just that you don't bomb people into respecting you. What they're doing with Iran, they have fucked us for generations. Oh, he can declare victory and go home whenever he feels it in his bones, but damage is done. What they've done to this country as far as reputation, we will never be trusted. We have created more terrorists just by bombing. You don't bomb people into loving you. It doesn't work like that. You bomb them and you create radicals. You radicalize the population. So we traded a 80-year-old Ayatollah for a 50-year-old one whose entire family was decimated by Traitor Trump. That's not going to bring him to the table. And when you get you add on the added insult of Traitor Trump killing girls in a school and then lying about it, saying, oh, they did it. They stole Tomahawk missiles that only we have and bombed their own school for whatever fucking reason. See, that's a devious mind. That's something Trump would do. And this is why we have to be very concerned about the midterm elections, because Republicans, they're always talking about false flags. Because they are the ones that do the false flags. Democrats are too busy trying to get people health care. We're too busy trying to save Social Security from Republican destruction and trying to make sure that people don't needlessly die without health care. We're trying to make sure that people have living wages, that don't go hungry and all, we're trying to have a society that works for everyone. We're not coming up with false flags. Republicans are fanning out on their Russian-funded propaganda outlets, lying about Democrats. And it was like during the Black Lives Matter, that case in point. Numerous times, the right-wing groups engaged in violence during the Black Lives Matter movement. Some of them were arrested, and because that's how we know about it. And it ended up being right-wing provocateurs, like the umbrella guy who smashed the windows that we have on video. And then there was somebody from, was it Patriot Front or Boogaloo Boys, who shot into a police station yelling, "Justice for George Floyd." And it was a Nazi. This is what they do. That's why we have to be very concerned what Trump is up to for the midterm elections, because fascists use the mechanisms of a liberal democratic society to gain power, and then they pull up the ladders behind them under the pretext of a temporary emergency. So all they have to do is some kind of attack. And if the Iranians won't indulge us, they'll do it themselves. The Republicans will do it. They don't give a shit who dies. They need power. They don't want to go to jail. They don't want to sit in the dock at The Hague. They don't want to be subpoenaed for all their criminality. Kristi Noem, I know she's fired, but she's gonna have a lot of explaining to do when we get power. if we get power. That's why these Republicans are pushing this SAVE Act. Save, then they're very sinister, of course. Save. What are you saving? You're saving yourselves, you demons. Well, Trump rolled back he revoked the scientific endangerment finding that greenhouse gases threaten public health, even though we know that. See, nothing to see. Why don't they suck on their exhausts? That's what I always wonder. Just put your mouth around the exhaust of your car and suck on in. Breathe in. Get a good full breath in there. Right? I mean, if these gases are so healthy. He eliminated the Biden-era vehicle greenhouse gas and fuel economy standards. Oh, you can't tell the big automakers to make cars with higher mileage, right? Where fuel economy, with better fuel economy, that's practically communism. They want bigger. This is what they're doing. They're flooding the market with bigger, dirtier gas and diesel trucks. Just as the world's car makers are pivoting to EVs. I don't know. I mean, don't you want to live in a world that's cleaner? Oh, but we just listened to Traitor Trump. He's like, I love the clean air. I want the cleanest air, the cleanest water, the cleanest ass, the cleanest, right? Oh, just all you gotta do is say it, and the fucking dumbasses, the stupid flying monkeys behind him. He said it. He wants the cleanest coal. He wants the cleanest air, the most pristinest, cleanest. I feel betrayed, though, but now I'm sucking on exhausts. I feel so betrayed. He didn't run on this. Okay, he dismantled Biden-era tax incentives for renewable and clean manufacturing. Because who needs clean manufacturing? Right? You can meet Jesus quicker. He pulled the U.S. out of the global climate efforts, of course, because we are the world's pariah now. Oh, but don't ask maggots. We're the most respected. Traitor Trump's the most loved. Good thing he came along. He could tell everybody what to do, how to do it. So, yeah, what's going to happen is that American automakers and energy firms are going to get stuck in yesterday's tech, while the competitors abroad are racing ahead, right, with batteries and solar and wind and clean manufacturing. that the U.S. helped invent, but now we're washing our hands of it because baboons don't like to evolve, right? It's disgusting. But worse than that, what I was watching earlier was breaking my heart, because Republicans have never set America up for success. All we got to do is go back in time a little to the 70s, right, with Jimmy Carter. Let's not forget, Jimmy Carter put the solar panels on the White House. And if not for the Republicans, right, if not for their Republican policies, we wouldn't have been in Iraq at all. Who knows what would have happened? September 11th probably wouldn't have happened at all. But Republicans, they had to, as soon as Reagan got into office, see, where is, I have a clip here of Carter. Let me see. That's not that. Oh, that's that asshole. See, this is the ceremony of putting the solar panels on the White House,
which God has given us, and to seize the opportunities that we have to build a more prosperous, self-reliant, enjoyable,
can you imagine,
confident future.
Oh,
in which all
the
Americans
wokeness.
can share. Today, in directly harnessing the power of the sun, we are taking the energy that God gave us, the most renewable energy that we will ever see, and using it to replace our dwindling supplies of fossil fuels. There is no longer any question that solar energy is both feasible and also cost-effective. In those homes now using electricity, a typical solar hot water heating system, such as the one behind me, can pay for itself in 7 to 10 years. As energy costs increase, which is an almost inevitable prospect, that period for paying for this investment will be substantially reduced. Solar energy will not pollute our air,
well, we can't have that,
or water. We will not run short of it. No one can ever embargo the sun. Or
well, then Americans won't die.
But we must work together to turn our vision and our dream into a solar reality. Today I am sending to the Congress legislative recommendations for a new solar strategy that will move our nation toward true energy security and abundant, readily available energy supplies. This effort to analyze where we are and what our tremendous opportunities might be was originated by a meeting between myself and congressional leaders known as the Solar Energy Caucus.
Oh, the Solar Energy Caucus. It's practically communism, too. Everything is commie. Everything and woke. DEI. Was it DEI, maybe? Maybe it was, who knows? Could you imagine? You see, if we had stayed on Carter's plan, we'd be free of, we'd be energy independent now. And if you listen to the speech and his other speeches about this, because we were in an energy crisis, there was an energy embargo, and we had a president who was an actual Christian, actually a decent man. And the evangelicals of the time, they turned against Carter because they realized, oh shit, he's the real deal. He's not a fake Christian like us. He's an actual Christian that wants to help people and be good to people. And he's working for peace for real and shit. And so they turned against him. And but if we had stayed on Carter's path, we would be completely energy free. I think, what was it, by the year 2000, we would have, I don't know, I don't have the stat in front of me, but we'd certainly be energy independent now. And just like Joe Biden in the infrastructure, in the Inflation Reduction Act, where he said by the year 2035 we can be completely energy independent. And if we stayed on Carter's path, but that didn't happen because Reagan tore the solar panels off the White House. And one of the first things he did. And for 40 years, since that happened, since Reagan, I mean, that should, think about that. Think about how destructive that simple act, just one simple act of destruction from these right-wingers who want us in bed with foreign dictators who hate us. Why wouldn't you want to set America up for success? Why wouldn't you want to extricate the United States from anti-American and anti-democratic foreign dictators? Why wouldn't you? Unless you hate America and you have your own interests, you have different interests than the best interest of America. Right? I mean, for the past 40 years, we've paid for that destructive action of taking the solar panels off the White House. We've paid for it with our lives, with American lives, with blood and treasure, as they say, which drives me nuts. Blood and treasure, boots on the ground, blood and treasure. We're talking about real fucking people here. The treasure, as Adam Schiff said, that Traitor Trump they're dropping hospitals on Iran right now. They're not dropping bombs. They're dropping hospitals. And that's 100% correct. How many hospitals have we dropped? Because Reagan took the solar panels off the White House. You know, let's give the party of personal responsibility its due. We paid for that destructive act, that anti-American, that America-hating act with lives, with oil shocks, right? What? Gas is going up, gas is going up, gas is going down. I did that, right? All that shit, all that divisive shit from the right-wingers. When we could, everything should have been dragged back to Reagan's fucking doorstep, like everything else that sucks. Income inequality, upward immobility, that all goes back to Reagan too. And every war, every service member that sacrificed their lives in war for oil, in the war on terror, all that, everything from being attacked on September 11th, all of the disgraces that came after, Abu Ghraib, all the 20 years of quagmire. That's all your Republicans. Thanks, Republicans. American lives, wars, money. Oh, God. But that's the end of the Progressive Voices part of the show. But there's more show. YouTube.com/C4Channel/Tarabuster. And on everywhere else, we will win. Thank you, Charlie, from APS Radio News. We're on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. We stick together, we win. Will you please subscribe to my Substack, peoples? Okay, thank you. Right. Redfoot on the chat. You can't spell stupid moron without Trump. That is the truth. Tell me when I'm wrong here. And then he's like, oh, you want to see a bird cemetery? Go look at the wind. He doesn't like wind. You know why he doesn't like wind? Because he got into some kind of fight. I think was it in Scotland? Because they built some wind farms somewhere that he didn't like near him. So it's personal. It's a vendetta. He's got a vendetta against Wynn. It has nothing to do with birds, as we know. He couldn't give a shit about birds. That fucking asshole, I don't know how many poor birds have had to sustain his useless carcass. Every single one of those birds had more worth and value than the entire Trump lineage, except for Mary. Disgusting. It's all a con. It's all a scam. What's so disturbing is the maggots who believe it and fall for it. That's what makes it worse. Is the gaslighting, the constant gaslighting from the corporate media, the normalizing from the corporate media. You know, they're discussing his actions like he's got a plan. When I watch the so-called liberal media, it makes me want to stab myself in the ears with a pencil. Listening to them discuss whether Trump had whatever the latest fucking outrage he said, the latest stupid thing he said, is as if it's a sincere thought or there's anything behind it other than something he thought he should say at the moment because he needed to. Oh, you're a stupid reporter, that's a stupid question, or he's got some kind of plan. Oh God, when will it end? And when is that great getting up morning? It's so depressing knowing that, like, every day it's like, damn, not yet. They're all equally awful. And the the only person who benefits, of course, in this the monster show that we're living through is Putin. Right? Always, all roads lead to Putin in Traitor Trump's world. It's incredible. Wait a second. Here it is. Listen to this fucking guy.
So there are a couple of different countries you might throw out there if you were looking purely through the lens of what's good for the United States, an America first perspective. Most obvious, of course, would be Russia. Russia! Why? Because it's the biggest country in the world. It's the biggest landmass in the world. And it has enormous mineral deposits, energy deposits. It's got a lot of oil and gas and gold and everything else you need to run a society. And it also has a formidable military. Like if you needed an ally to help you in a conflict, or if you needed a country in which to stage a fight with some other country, a place to put air bases, for example, Russia would be like the best.
They've said this about a lot of things.
Like the best.
Do some of this shit I'm doing.
Ha ha ha.
No other president.
Who is clapping for that, first of all? Okay? I didn't mean to play that clip at the end there, but just started to play. No one would do, no other president could do this shit.
President could do some of this shit I'm doing.
What are you laughing at? You disgraceful, embarrassment to laughter? Ha ha. What are you laughing at? People are dying, you piece of shit. We don't we don't even know the worst that's yet to come, and you're laughing at the con man's antics. You're laughing at someone that has power that has no business having power. And okay, so I played that clip because it's Tucker Carlson, and he's got this, I don't know what, he's a Russian asset. There is no doubt. These maggots, they want to turn America into a Russian type state, an oligarchy, where we have the strong man at the top and I guess, where I mean they're kind of successful in their plan. They have really dragged us along. But so he's like, of course it's Russia. Tucker Carlson should be ashamed of himself. His open sympathy for Putin. We've watched him interview Putin. And in fact, after the fact, Putin said something about Tucker Carlson, like he was surprised that he licked his balls so vehemently. He thought the interview would be tougher. It was nothing but fluff. He might as well have just got down on his knees and serviced him. But Carlson has openly said that he is sympathetic. He said his quote was that he is definitely more sympathetic to Putin than Zelensky. That says everything. Zelensky is fighting for a democratic nation. Putin is a brutal dictator who, if you want to talk about, oppresses his own people. This fucking guy, throws people out window, journalists, opposition. Putin poisons his adversaries and across borders. He sends assassins into our allies and poisons people and kills people. He suppresses dissent. That he controls the media. That's what they want to do here. You see, Republicans are the enemies, the domestic enemies the founders warned us against. And Tucker Carlson is infamous. He platforms Putin's propaganda. Talking about, what did he say? He when he was interviewed, he sat down with Putin, and he sat there like a lickspittle, unchallenged. All the historical distortions. He didn't, nothing, it's like he's a good little lickspittle. Didn't push back on any lie about Ukraine that historians and fact checkers said was absolute nonsense, complete nonsense, helping the Kremlin launder talking points into U.S. media. That's this piece of shit here, who is, and I hate him legally and peacefully, Tucker Carlson. He's everything that sucks about society, about people like him. Born on third base. He was born on fucking home plate, this guy. The heir to the Swanson fortune, right? But that's not good enough. You use your power and privilege to trick people, to lie to people, to make sure that others don't have a fair share or a fair shot. You rob them. He's like everything we were talking about in the beginning of the show. You rob people of their serenity. You rob them of their peace of mind, on top of robbing them of their Social Security, their social safety net, their ability to see a doctor, their ability to get sick, to be a human. That's what freedom is. The freedom to take a day off, to walk on the beach, to have a weekend, right? The weekend. Thanks, liberals. To enjoy a little bit of the blip of time that we have in this conscious realm together. Tucker Carlson, born on third base, handed everything, uses his privilege to make things worse for his audience, for the people horrible enough, who's stupid enough to listen to him. Because you got to be damaged in some way. You have to be sick in some way to say, hey, I'm going to sit down and watch and listen to Tucker Carlson. And the only reason anybody should listen to him is if you're in a media class writing a 10-page paper on propaganda, on Russian propaganda in American media. That's what's so gross. And it says everything. Like I say, I wish I was wrong, because it sucks to be right, literally and figuratively. I wish I was wrong about this. But propaganda works. That's why we have Americans who listen to this, who hear this shit, who think that Putin is an ally. They really do. That's how destructive Rupert Murdoch's poison pustule has been. And people like Tucker Carlson, who got their start. He got his start on Rupert Murdoch's poison pustule. And he's got, I mean, this guy, I don't know what his damage is. Narcissism, sociopathy. They're all fucked up in some way. You know? It really does take some kind of sick, damage to want to hurt people. So, make a career out of lying to people and spreading hate and division against your fellow countrymen and your country. Just says it all, right? Like, they hate this country. They hate the democratic system the founders created. They hate that. They like, they like suppression, oppression, freedom. That's what really gets me. These right-wingers. Oh, that's what I was going to say earlier about when we were talking about the anti-fascist book club and the guy who was in the union. One of the guys was in the book To Catch a Fascist. He's in a union, and he got outed as being a fascist. But it doesn't surprise me, because this is what fascists do. They use the mechanisms of liberal democracy to get power, because they want all the benefits of liberal democracy. They want it for themselves, but they just don't. They have damage. They're racists. They're sick in some way. They need fucking therapy, and they find community with fellow losers in the fascist realm. They're sick. Like when you, and if I had 10 minutes with any one of them, and let's say they had to take a truth serum, we would get to the bottom of it. When you look at Mike Johnson, for example, we wonder, how does Mike Johnson look at himself in the mirror? He seems like somebody who starts each day with a big hunk of spit at his reflection in the mirror. Because how much do you have to hate yourself to constantly debase yourself and give the power away that you were elected, right? I mean, he's a very sick man. If you look at his career and you go back in Mike Johnson's career, he's a real wackadoo. He's clearly closeted, in my professional opinion. In my Psych 101 opinion. He said something one time that gave it away. A lot of times they do. He said something about, let me look this up. He said something about you could choose something about choice. He's like, you can't choose your skin color. You can't choose something else, but you can choose your sexuality. He made, let me just look this up. Mike Johnson, choose your sexuality quote. Am I getting it right? They do that sometimes. They can't help it. But Mike Johnson, oh yes, it's true. Mike Johnson has repeatedly framed being LGBTQ as a choice, including in a line. Okay, this is what he said. Your race, creed, and sex are what you are, while homosexuality and cross-dressing are things you do. We don't give special protections for every person's bizarre choices. So, that says everything that we need to know about Mike Johnson. He's in the closet, and he chooses to be in the closet. He chooses to be, married to a woman who, when you look at him, you know that when he and his wife, and you know how it is when you first get together with somebody you really like, you're not, I'm sure him and his wife, I just can't imagine them, really going at it. You know what I mean? Or Mike Johnson, like ravaging his wife. And I think it's all bullshit. So yeah, he's written editorials opposing sexual orientation, adding sexual orientation and gender to non-discrimination laws. He wrote, yes, your race, your creed, and sex are what you are. While homosexuality and cross-dressing, go fuck yourself. Republicans do that all the time. They conflate being trans with cross-dressing, which is not what being trans is, of course. Being trans is being trans. Cross-dressing is not might be somebody likes to do that. That's not a gender identity. But they like to confuse people because they need, they need people to be confused in order to vote for these horrible policies, horrible Republican policies that keep us all in the dark ages, right? It's so sad that that's why we have to get money out of politics, but, we have to get the message out there with what we're doing here. Otherwise we won't have a shot. We do not stand a chance when, this is what's so chilling. When Hegseth said earlier, I can't wait for Ellison to take over CNN. This is what it's about. We need to break up Paramount. If this deal goes through, which it probably will, because this is the most corrupt maladministration in American history, if we get power back from these fascists, we have to break up these big media monopolies for the sake of democracy. This used to be understood. We used to understand that you have to tax the rich down to size. Otherwise, they can grow so powerful that they gobble up democracy itself. And here we are with billionaires, and who are these billionaires are openly hostile to democracy. And we have a duty to stop them. Wait, hold on. And that's what we were talking about earlier in the Anti-Fascist Book Club. I'll get this fucking guy's face off here. Because and we were talking about the paradox of tolerance, right? Well, I was talking about it mostly. And it's the political theory that constitutional designers propose a self-defense for liberalism. The idea is that while freedom of speech, association, participation are essential for a free society and a free democratic society, they are not absolute when used to destroy the very democratic system that these people exist in, right? Like Peter Thiel, for example. He goes around quoting Nazis, Carl Schmitt, as if he's just another philosopher, another intellectual that you might point to in any intellectual debate. Well, he points to him as when he's talking about we have to think outside the box or think outside the Overton window because democracies have failed. That's what he says. And what do you think they're proposing? They're proposing, there's only so many systems on Earth. There's only so many ideas, right, of organizing into governments. You think Peter Thiel? That's what gets me. They use the system of that they got rich in. They did pretty fucking well in the system, but I guess that's not good enough. They want more. They don't want you to have freedom, right? They don't want. They want to make sure that you can't do anything. You can't come at them and demand that they pay fucking taxes. Any more they don't have enough money. $500 billion is not enough money for Peter Thiel. He needs more. So in order to get that, he's got to make sure you're stupid and suppressed and don't have health care and are listening to divisive bullshit, and you're thinking outside the Overton window when it comes to democracies. Because I guess democracies haven't worked, right? And that's the lie that these people peddle. The lie is that, it's democracy that's broken. No, it's not democracy. It's capitalism that's broken. And in the end stage capitalist system, with this income disparity and upward immobility, that's where fascism takes root. In that suppression of, where the working class doesn't have a seat at the table and they feel betrayed and left behind. It's the whole fucking thing is so sinister. But what gets me is that these people who see goddamn conspiracies everywhere don't see it. Right? These are the same people, like all those assholes standing behind Traitor Trump at his Nuremberg rallies. Right? These are the same people that were believed in Pizzagate and others, all the other bullshit, the QAnon assholes, Q, I'm from Q. Hold on, Jewish space lasers and all that. They believe all that shit, but they don't believe the oldest conspiracy. They don't even see it. Make the rich richer, divide and conquer, especially along racial lines. Exploit every fissure of disunity to keep people at each other's throats. So, and one last thing I wanted to show. Let me see, what time is it? We got a little bit of time. We got recording. It's not like on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We have a little bit of time to go over if we must. Look at this mother effer, Miss Lindsey Graham.
To our friends in Spain, man, you have lost your way. I don't want to do business with you anymore. I want our air bases out of Spain into a country that will let us use them. What I want you to do in the Mideast, our friends in Saudi Arabia and other places, step forward and say, this is my fight too. I join America. I'm publicly involved in bringing this regime down. If you don't, you're making a great mistake, and you're going to cut off the ability to have a better relationship with the United States. I say this as a friend. All the anti-Seminites, to all the isolationists, I don't believe. Forget it. I'm not with you. I'm with Israel. I will be with Israel to our dying day. They're the best ally we could hope for. So we have a commander-in-chief in President Trump, who I think is Ronald Reagan plus.
Oh, my God. Well, he might be, because Ronald Reagan did destroy this country. His policies did drag us. See, it doesn't matter, though. It's the bullshit. It's the myth. It's the canards that they tell, thanks to their Russian-funded propaganda outlets. He's Ronald Reagan plus. Yeah, income disparity, upward immobility. I guess so. He is certainly Ronald Reagan plus. And because before FDR's body was even cold, they were looking for somebody to be the anti-FDR, to be the counter-FDR. That's why they made Reagan. They have the Reagan Legacy Project to name things after Reagan, like Reagan National Airport and whatnot. People wanted to name things after FDR. They did that on their own. Local communities did that. Let's vote. Let's make, the FDR Drive or the FDR High School because FDR was and remains our most consequential and beloved modern president. millions of Americans are living above the poverty line still, thanks to FDR and his policies, and Republicans are working on that. But for Lindsey Graham, the reason I'm bringing him up too is that I don't understand. This is another thing, Republicans never set us up for success, as I've been talking about. And Lindsey Graham, he's the senator from South Carolina who he has presided over a period where South Carolina is at the bottom of social and quality of life measures, while his own wealth and fundraising power, of course, he's only gotten more powerful, and his political clout have grown over these years. So he's been in Congress since 1995 and the U.S. Senate since 2003. So all that time that he's been in political office, I don't know how he shows his face in South Carolina, and I guess they deserve him, right? It must be because he hates the same people. I don't know what the people of South Carolina are getting out of having a Senator Lindsey Graham, because he's, let's see, I should have this list on hand all the time, because the Republican states are the poorly run states. And the South Carolina's problems have ballooned since the Graham era. He's done fuck all for his constituents. Really. Hold on. South Carolina continues to rank near the bottom nationally on measures like health outcomes, family well-being, poverty, and education. This is the decades of Graham-era conservative governance, that he's done nothing for the people who keep sending him back. It's baffling to me. This is what we're talking about here. It's another example. Propaganda works. The people of South Carolina must be consuming Fox News. They voted for Traitor Trump. They listen to right-wing influencers. The economic, not economic, how did I just say that? Economic? The Economic Policy Institute points to South Carolina's strategy of low wages, weak unions, and aggressive corporate incentive deals. Because that's what they do. It's all trickle down. All trickle down all the time. These are the policies that Lindsey Graham champions. And it's rooted in racism. I guess that's why they vote for him. And it's partly why, I'm sure, that South Carolina has a persistent underperformance problem when it comes to working class lives. His money has grown, of course. By mid-2025, Lindsey Graham, he reported, that's campaign cash, $15 million in campaign cash on hand, which, of course, translate into influence. In 2023, a bipartisan Senate Ethics Committee issued a public letter of admonition to Graham for soliciting campaign contributions on Fox News from inside his Senate office. Oh, well. There's no rules anymore for Republicans. He got a letter, a strongly worded letter. I'm surprised he even got a letter, really. His assets have grown while the people of South Carolina, I guess they can't say the same. He's turned his Senate seat, of course, into his, this career. During his career, he's doubled his net worth. Now, Republicans love to point to they talk about Chuck Schumer a lot, okay? They say Chuck Schumer. I mean, I talk about him too, but there's a lie that they constantly spread about Chuck Schumer that he's worth 111, something like that. They have a very precise number, $118 million. And it's just not true. I looked it up because I was receiving these, people, you know how it is. I get contacted by them. And I always double check when they send me stuff. Not that I'm defending Chuck Schumer. I think he should retire and, leave the fight against fascism to people who really want to fight fascism. But if you're so upset about Chuck Schumer, good. Be upset, but be upset about real things. Let's talk about Lindsey Graham. Let's talk about your people, the Republicans. But it's the outrage is so selective. This is how you know that they're full of shit. You won't hear that on this show. When Democrats need a case of red ass, we give it to them, right? Not Republicans. Their outrage is only triggered when somebody has a D after their name. When it comes to somebody with an R after their name, they have blinders. They don't even have they have blindfolds. Fucking ridiculous. That's how I can't take them seriously at all. I wish they were sincere. You got to just be outraged about the things that are outrageous. Like political corruption, like the fact that you have a senator who is more interested in what? I don't even know. Like sucking Traitor Trump's toes? Or doing Fox News hits. What has he done for you and your communities? Certainly hasn't helped you get health care. In fact, he's made your lives worse. Right? All of these Republicans, the same thing. All the Republicans, all these poorly run red states are at the bottom of positive measures, at the top of negative measures, and then they want to come and tell us in the blue states that are keeping their poorly run red states afloat, they want to tell us what to do, how to run our lives. And that the other thing that gets me too, and in the last couple of minutes here, to just talk about sanctuary cities, because we keep hearing about sanctuary cities because the fascists are attacking. When they were attacking Minnesota, they're still attacking. And I wrote an article about this on the Political Voices Substack. But the fact is that sanctuary cities are safer cities. Sanctuary cities have lower crime. And they attack sanctuary cities. And this is how you know that they have nothing to offer the American people. They make up, they lie to the people who are dumb enough to listen to them. They say, "Oh, sanctuary cities." They give the impression that sanctuary cities are like, it's like when you play tag and you tap the base. I'm safe. Now you can't get me. That's not what sanctuary cities are. They think, all these illegals are running to sanctuary cities and there are criminals and these criminals can't be arrested. That is not true. That's not what sanctuary cities are. Sanctuary cities mean that if you're an immigrant or you're an undocumented immigrant and you're living in a state and you encounter a crime or you see a crime or you're a victim of a crime, the police aren't asking you your immigration status. They don't ask you your papers, please. They deal with your issue. That makes cities and counties and states more safer. And in fact, here's the music. Hold on. I gotta lower the music. Thank you for so now we know that's the end of the show. But sanctuary cities actually have lower crime rates than non-sanctuary jurisdictions, and the research holds up across both violent crime and property crime. And there's numerous studies, and we know this is across the board. On average, 35.5 fewer crimes are committed per 10,000 people in counties with sanctuary policies compared to non-sanctuary counties. And this is property crime and violent crime is decreased more in sanctuary counties than non-sanctuary counties. And it decreases after implementing sanctuary policies, okay? The studies show that there's no correlation between adopting sanctuary policies and increases in crime rates. In fact, it makes your communities safer. That's because people can report things. They see something, they can say something. Whereas in non-sanctuary jurisdictions, it breeds mistrust. It's like, I'm not getting involved. I don't want to encounter the police. It's bad for the police because it makes it harder for them to solve crimes or actually make their community safer. That's why police actually appreciate and support sanctuary policies. But we never hear that. How come we never hear that on the corporate media? Anybody? Raise your hand if you know. Because I am sick of it. I can't do it all myself here, and Hal can't do it all himself. We try, but that's it. It's the truth. So they're like, that's what was fucking driving me nuts when they had, who was it? What's her name? Pam Bondi was being interviewed, or I don't know. She said one of these. Fucking the whole thing. My brain is filled with these monsters running around. These fucking Republicans. It's hard to remember where and when all these incidences occurred, but Pam Bondi said something like, and it's Homan too, and he was like, we'll do this if you end your sanctuary policies. We're going into these sanctuary places and we're gonna set things right. And of course on Fox News, I expect the Fox News propaganda mouthpiece to sit there like a silent baboon or flying monkey, but I don't expect that on the so-called liberal media, right? But it's still the corporate media. They sit there when they get Republicans on there saying things like that. They never correct it. They never say, well, sanctuary cities are safer cities. They never correct it and educate the American people. So there are people that are out there because they're not paying attention, like you and I. They think, sanctuary cities are horrible. It's like Republicans are really good at branding and painting things with broad brushes and getting the American people to turn against the very policies that are helping them, So I don't know about you, but I live in New York, but I appreciate living in a sanctuary county and city because God forbid something happens, or Nam Myoho Renge Kyo forbid something happens, and I would like my neighbors or a bystander or anybody to get involved, to help me or call the police, or because they don't feel afraid. Their whole life, they're not going to blow up their whole life if they get involved. And it fosters community spirit, and it helps the police too. That's why the police support it. Police chiefs who are in sanctuary counties support it because it makes the, it makes the public relations better. So there you go, right? So let's see. As far as sanctuary, I didn't plan on talking about this, but I don't know why I brought it up. It doesn't matter. I guess I was meant to say it. It's just about how Republican policies are the worst. They don't bring anything to the table. They don't help their communities. They do nothing for their communities. Wouldn't you? See, what's your purpose in representing your community? Wouldn't you think it would be to improve the lives of your constituents? Right? And if improving the lives of your constituents includes policies that makes them safer, and it reduces the crime rate, and fosters a community spirit, and fosters a relationship with the police, with local police, a positive relationship, wouldn't you want to adopt those policies if they are proven to work? Well, then if you don't, it must be you have a different agenda. Why would you not want to adopt things that make your constituents safer? Well, then maybe you don't want to make them safer. Maybe your agenda is something else. You have an agenda of making the rich richer, perhaps, turning people against each other, making them fear immigrants. You have to vilify undocumented immigrants, cut off every means of getting legal, right? This is what Republicans do. And stir up hatred, stir up division. And what better way, if it makes communities suspicious of each other, all the better. If it makes people not want to get involved or help somebody when they see something happening. See something, don't say something because I'm not getting involved, then that's all the better for Republicans because it gets them closer to their ultimate goal of destroying pesky democracy once and for all. And because they gotta steal. It's got to be easier to steal. Because that's one of the things in fascism. It gives losers power. And it makes, these losers. It gives them means to get power than they wouldn't normally have. And that's why you'll see all these losers attracted to it. And in same thing in Nazi Germany. A lot of losers got a lot of power that they could not have dreamt of getting in the functioning meritocracy, or you know what I mean, or in the Weimar Republic. And it also relieves them of their responsibility, like we were talking earlier in the show, in the Anti-Fascist Book Club. It gives losers, it tells the losers that, no, you're not the problem. You're not a loser. It's the elites. It's the others. It's the illegals. It's the trans people. It's the gay people. It's the darker people. It's everybody's holding you back. It's the system. It's the liberal elites that have made you such a loser. And now we're doing something about it. All right. Yeah. Thank you for hanging out, guys, and thank you for the raid, for the Hal Sparks raid. It's the highlight of my week, really. I do hope everybody's had a good time in the chat and on the Discord chat. I got to get these chats up here. One of these days, I'm going to figure it out, Had to do that like Cal and put all the chats together. I really want to thank you. Yes, I know, Ray. He just made a special appearance. Let me see if I can get him. Ray. Ray? Come here, Ray. Where'd you go? Ray? I hear something. Ray. Come here, Ray. Come here, boo-boo. Ray, where'd you go? You just... Come here, Ray. Come here, honey. Come here. Let me see. Over here. Come here, boo-boo. He won't let me grab him. Come here, boo-boo. Come here. I want to show everybody your new collar. You look good. Ray, come here. Come here, boo-boo. Come here. Come here over here. He won't get up. Come here, you little boo. Come here. You silly man. I wish I could put my camera. Let me see. If I can hook up my iPhone camera and give you a glimpse here. Where is it? iPhone. Come here, Ray. He's going away. Oh, brother. How do I do that? I forget now. Camera? No, that's me. Little old me. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Okay. Look at that. Tara Jr. Sleeping. He's sleeping on the couch. That's his little bed. Right, Junie? See, the whole show. He's been sitting. Uh-oh, here he comes now. Here he comes. You coming up? And there's Ray. Ray. Oh, brother. And there's... Look at that. Interesting, right? It's behind the scenes of the Tarabuster show. That's my computer. Interesting. See, I see the monitor. That's me. This is the... Oh! Uh-oh. Someone is talking. Come on. There we go. Get up here. Get up here, buddy. There we go. Ready? Sit. It's Tara Jr. He's got a good face. Look at his face. He's old, but he went to the doctor, everybody. He lost... I was very worried about him because he lost 2 pounds. And he wasn't... And he's 15. And he took a blood test. And they said he will develop kidney disease. You know, they have a test now for cats. And that very much upset me because I love him. But they said it's normal of his age. He doesn't have it. So I put him on a special diet, a kidney disease diet. And he doesn't eat it. He doesn't like it. So he lost 2 pounds, which he looked very thin. And anyway, I took him to the vet and I thought it was like the kidney disease. So it's the fact that he doesn't like the food. So I have to get him on. He's on an appetite stimulant now. Yeah. So he ate so he's eating his food. He's got to eat the special food. So he doesn't get the kidney disease. And the good news is his blood work came back and he was in the normal range of kidney. So he still has to eat his food. But we'll have him around, hopefully, very long time. Right, Junior? I love my cats, and I love him. He's a good boy. I could tell you stories. Well, I got him the year my parents both passed away. One year, 2010, it was one of the worst years of my life. My mother died, and then exactly 3 months later, my father died. And then, not exactly 3 months later, but 3 months later, my cat, Tara Jr., the first, died. And it was a fucked up year. And I woke up one morning, and I was crying, and I felt the weight of grief on my chest. And I said, fuck this. And I went to North Shore Animal League and walked over. I'm going to turn this off because it's blurred out. And we went over to a cage, and there was a little kitten there with another kitten. And I looked at him, and he crawled up my arm and started licking my face, and that was it. And I took him home. And he's been the best ever since. All right, now he's biting me. He's biting my hands. That's why I don't like when he comes up here. He fucking bites my hands. Stop that. It's not very nice. It's like he doesn't like my hands waving around. Well, I'm sorry, producer. Yeah. I'm sorry to hear, Greg on the chat. Yeah. Greg says, my mother outlived my father until November 2015. It was not easy. Yes. I'm sorry, Erin West. My dog got taken away by kidney failure at 14. I had him for 7 years. Not long enough. Well, thank you for taking him in at 7. A lot of people wouldn't have done that. Yeah. And Eddie says, yes, there are a few varieties for kidney disease. My kitty rejected a couple before she picked the one that she's eating now. Well, when I put him on, they said put him on early stages, so that's what he's on. They started making kidney disease food for different stages, so he's on early stage. And he seems to like it a little better, but he's on an appetite stimulant. So we'll see. He's going to still be on it for a week, and then we'll see after the week if he continues to eat it. Because you know how it is with cats. They will not eat if they don't like the food. And then there's a whole other set of problems you can get from them not eating. Hey, that's my hand. You little biter. All right, that's enough. I'm putting you down. You bitey, bitey. Smitey, smitey, bitey, bitey. I don't know. He just doesn't. He wants my hands to be completely still or petting him. He gets very upset when I stop petting him. All right, my friends. Yes, I hope I've known many cats, not many, but a few, more than a handful of cats that have lived to past the age of 20. My cousin, even like when I was growing up, I thought that was just the normal cat age. Because my cousin had a cat that was 22, and I knew another person that had a cat that was over 20. I've known a few. So, Tara Jr. gets good health reports for the most part, except for the kidney disease, but that's why you take them in, regularly, so, because they mask their sicknesses. So I'm glad I found out that he has this problem and will develop kidney disease, so I can be proactive. Yeah, Redfoot says, my friend's cat lived to 22. I've known a few. I think the oldest cat was like 35 or something. Let's see. What's let me see, oldest living cat, or cat in general. The oldest verified living cat is a tortoise shell named Flossie, living in the United Kingdom, who is 30 years old and recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records. Well, she's still alive now. Born in 1995, has repeatedly been confirmed in recent updates and news reports as the world's oldest living cat. Let's see, what about oldest cat ever? The oldest cat ever reliably recorded was a tabby named Cream Puff from Austin, Texas, who lived to be 38 years old and 3 days. Cream Puff was born on August 3rd, 1967. That's when I was born, and that's the year I was born. August 6th, and lived until August 6th of 2005. Wow. What a wonderful story. Aw. Wait, let's see if I could show you. Where's my Safari? Let me see. Bum, bum, bum. Come on. It's not working. I mean, this is just our clearly after show. Boop beep bum. Bum bum bum. What the fuck is going on? It won't let me change. Here we go. Come on, Ecamm. This is the oldest living cat, or the oldest cat that ever lived. Aww. Let me see. I wish this wouldn't do that. Come on, Ecamm. Boy, oh boy. All right. You get the point, I guess. Oh. They were both tortoise shells. Isn't that interesting? The one that we just talked about. The oldest living cat right now is a tortoise shell. And the one who was the oldest living cat ever is a tortoise. All right, guys. That's it. I gotta go to bed. I also have to get the show ready for Progressive Voices and all that. It never ends until that great getting up morning. It won't end then either, but that'll be a great getting up morning, won't it? I don't care when it happens. I just want to hear. I want to hear my phone like dinging off the hook with fireworks and celebration. I want the people to pour into the streets like they did when Biden was elected. I remember hearing the news. I was sitting in my bedroom and all of a sudden I saw, my phone notifications started going off, and I heard honking and cheering outside, okay? I live in Queens, New York. And people were like stopping their cars and honking and getting out of their cars. My friend who was driving at the time said she didn't understand at first like why people were honking and stopping their cars and cheering. because we had been liberated from a baboon. Oh, God. All right, this is why we fight. Thank you guys for hanging out tonight and every Friday. Thank you for the House Sparks raid. Please like and subscribe to this channel so you know when we have our shows every Friday. I hope you come back. Andrea, thank you so much, Andrea, for modding over on the Discord and also everything you do to keep this show going and growing. And also being a guest. Andrea was on the show last week, which we had a great time, and she'll be back. I was hoping to have her on as a regular. And I think she agreed. I think she had a good time, except for the little technical difficulties we had in the beginning and me being a bitch about it. But I'm not a bitch about it. I just get frustrated. Not at Andrea, at the whole fucking situation. That's why I thank you, for your support. Maybe one day we can have somebody that knows how to, I don't know, produce a show professionally. I do all right, but I'd like to get, I don't know, some of those bells and whistles like Hal has, like those little monsters coming across the screen or something, and the chat. Uh-oh, now he wants to come back up. The chat on the screen. That's nice. All right, my loves. I can't find you. Where'd you go? I'm looking for you. Uh-oh, get off me. You're bothering me. He's pulling on my pants. He's ripping my pants up now. Don't rip my pants. You pantaloon. I gotta cut their nails. All right. My loves. Thank you for hanging out. Remember. Uh-oh, now you're gonna fall. Oh, Jesus Christ. We will win. We will win. Uh-oh, he's back. We will win. Why? Why will we win? Because we're on the right side of history. Yes, it's true. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. We stick together. We win, right? Right? My name is Tara Devlin. Thank you for hanging out. Subscribe to my Substack. Thank you, Charlie from APS Radio News. We stick together. We win. I will. I'll see you soon. All right? See you Tuesday, but hopefully sooner on the Substack and everywhere else. I'll see you. Right?